Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Cosmic Style. In this video series I talk about my favorite game of all time, Cosmic Encounter, and specifically I give you guys a set of 5 alien powers that work together in some interesting or fun way, whether it's because they affect the same mechanic within the game itself or they have some kind of a real world theme. In this case we have a real world theme of math hurts brain. That is to say, all of these powers somehow involve thinking too much and having to math a lot of stuff. First and foremost, probably the most math of all of these is the calculator from the base set. The way that this works is you can equalize. What does that mean? Well, if both people play attack cards, that means that you reduce the highest by the lowest. So if you have a 40 and a 20, the 40 gets reduced by 20. If you have a 10 and a 7, the 10 gets reduced by 7, and etc, etc. So it's pretty interesting, and especially if you have low encounter cards or low-ish encounter cards, it can potentially save you quite a bit of a headache. Next up is the Pygmy, the adorable Pygmies from Cosmic Alliance. The way that these guys work is they actually have 2 sets of home planets, and each home planet only counts as half of a foreign colony. In other words, your opponents have to attack you twice and get on 2 separate planets in order for it to actually count as having a foreign colony in your home system. In addition, only 4 ships are ever allowed to be on any of your planets. So if the attacker has 4 ships that they're attacking with, all of their allies don't get to get anything with it. Next up is the Tripler. This is from the base set, and the way it works is very simple. If you play a card that is below a 10, then it triples the amount. If you play a card that is above a 10, then it divides the value by 3 and rounds it up. So in other words, if you play a 13, it would round to, what, I guess a 5 in that case. So it can be kind of interesting, but again, very advantageous if you have lower cards especially. Speaking of lower cards, next up is Antimatter. Also from the base set. One of my favorite powers in the entire base set. The way Antimatter works is very simple, and it just means that the lower total wins. How do you get the lower total? Well, for the Antimatter, what happens is their ships as well as their allies will subtract from the total, whereas your opponent's allies and main ships will add to the total as normal, and then subsequently the lowest overall total will win. Last but not least is the Genius from Cosmic Incursion. This is kind of a weird one, and I picked it because it has a cool winning element where if you have 20 cards, you automatically win the game. And the way that you can get cards in this case is if you would otherwise get a foreign colony from an encounter, instead you're allowed to get 1 card for every ship that you sent onto that encounter. So you have a lot of really crazy interactivity, especially with things like between the Antimatter, Tripler, and the Calculator. There is a lot of craziness that can happen with these 5 powers, and it's a ton of fun, but remember, it can potentially make your brain hurt just a little bit. That said, thank you very, very much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will see you next time.